This episode is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you reviewed your insurance policy? So it's been a while, huh? Well, no worries. My friends at the Austin Brummett Agency would love to hear from you and provide you with some amazing rates. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. That's ABRUMIT at farmersagent.com, and tell them Harley sent you. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harley G is now sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Go to BetterHelp, that is BetterHelp.com/inside the bubble, the link to get started. You're listening to Inside the Bubble with Harley G, the podcast for the superwoman. Every week, we connect with amazing individuals who share their inspirational experiences and stories while motivating and inspiring purpose. It's time to hang your cape. Grab your coffee, your water, your cocktail, and come on in Inside the Bubble with me, your host, Harley G. Insiders, welcome to Inside the Bubble with Harley G. This is another solo episode. I have been thinking about speaking on this subject that I'm about to talk about today, which is this little thing called purpose. And I've been thinking about it for a while. It's been on my heart to talk about it, but I wanted to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row and that I wanted to put out a certain message out there, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared to speak eloquently about it. So, purpose. As you know, purpose is what drives my platform. It is the foundation of this platform, of this podcast. Everything, every message, every story, every experience, I really truly feel like there is a purpose behind it. Whether it's something that is painful, whether it is something that is, victorious, whether it is something that speaks to perseverance, I do believe that every story and every experience has a purpose behind it. And as you can see by my tagline, there's purpose in your story. And I wanted to specifically talk about purpose today because I feel like it is really important, and how even sometimes when we are walking, I feel like there are some people think that, because you're walking your purpose, everything is fine, everything is easy, there's no work to be done. That could not be further from the truth. And I would like to speak on that. So, purpose. So the way it started, so I'm going to go back to the beginning as I always do, even when I have guests on the show, and then, we'll bring it back full circle. But ever since I could remember, I've always asked myself the question, what am I here for? What is my mission? What was I put on this earth to do? Uniquely to me, not anyone else, but me. So God made me for a specific reason, and I've always asked myself the question of, what is that reason? Why did he put me here on earth? I really truly believe, and we're going to get into this too, that there is something to say about divine purpose. So I actually had a conversation with my business coach a few days ago, and we were talking about the difference between divine purpose and ultimate purpose, which I feel like when you say divine purpose, you are tying it to the ultimate power. You're tying it to God, like what he built you for, what he put, what special gift that he gave you to walk in that purpose. And then, but some people are not religious, and so, or don't practice faith, or practice faith a certain way, and they feel like they want to stay away from the term of divine purpose, and they want to say ultimate purpose because that has a broader reach. I truly believe in divine purpose. I feel like they're kind of both the same. When I mean divine purpose, I'm also talking about ultimate purpose. So for me, it's the same. It's just, to each his own preference. But I've always asked myself, what is it? What is it that I was put here on earth to do? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What was I meant to do? And I also noticed that within that, people have unique skills. They have unique abilities that don't necessarily, that everybody doesn't have. So I joke about this and I say this, but I say running is my superpower. I run, and I feel like that is a unique skill that is specific to me. So I've always noticed that different individuals had different skills, different gifts that they were given, and I always felt that that played a role into their ultimate purpose, their divine purpose. And growing up, I thought that at a very young age, I was fascinated with TV and movies, and specifically the way an actor has the ability to transport you into the story, and you no longer see the person that they are, but you see the character. And at a very, very young age, ever since I could remember, I've always been fascinated with that. The ability for, I'll say it because I don't know who doesn't like this actor, but the way Denzel is able to transport you into Remember the Titans. Like, I felt like in that movie, I could feel the sweat. I could feel the speech. I can feel the mission. Like, I was part of the mission. And for an actor to have that ability to tell a story so strongly that you felt like you were actually in a movie, I was just blown by it. Absolutely fascinated by it. And ever since I was young, ever since I was little girl, I've always thought, wow, that's amazing. I love it. And I think that I want to be an actress. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to tell somebody's story. And while I'm telling you the story moves you so deeply that you feel like you are actually part of it. And so I decided at a very young age that I was going to be an actress. I wanted to do that. I was raised in Montreal, Canada, and a lot of the TV shows and movies that I watched growing up were a little bit different than the TV shows and movies that they have here in the United States. But some of them were. Like, some of them I was exposed to growing up when I was young, living in Canada. And some of those shows were, I remember the show that I started watching at a very young age with my parents was The Cosby Show. So The Cosby Show, A Different World, Family Matters, those were TV shows that I grew up. And I wanted to be Laura. I wanted to be Whitley. I know this does not come as a surprise, but I identified with those characters, and the way that they were able to tell those stories, the way with each episode, you were able to go into the episode and you were so excited about whatever the lesson was going to be for the show for that day or whatever. You were just excited. You just wanted to be immersed in that story, in that lesson. And I wanted to be able to grow up, and I wanted to do that. I felt like with each movie, with each TV show, with each lesson, there was hope. There was inspiration embedded in that story. And I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be the person that would be able to inspire people and provide them with that hope through that story. And I told by middle school, I was pretty much set in my way. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to tell my mom, you're starting to kind of figure out what you want to be when you grow up. You're starting to have those conversations and really truly think about it. And I was like, I'm going to tell my mother that I want to be an actress when I grow up. Insiders. I have parents that are from the Caribbeans. Need I say more? Just gonna tell you, let you in on a little secret. When you have parents that are from the Caribbeans, there are only three respectable fields that you can go into when you grow up. Okay, and that is you could be an architect, you could be a lawyer, or you can go anywhere in the medical field. Those are the three respectable careers that you can have if you have parents from the Caribbeans. Okay, that's it. It stops there. Those are your only choices. And so here I am, this little middle schooler, and with a Jerry curl, by the way, and I, talking to my mother, we're having a conversation, and I say, "Mom, I want to be an actress when I grow up." My mother took one good look at me in the eyeballs and said, "No, you are going to be an architect or a lawyer. You do not want to go in the medical field." And I was just like, well, there it goes. And I just, I was trying to push the envelope a little bit by saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And I was kind of trying to test the waters and see how my parents or how my mother would support me in that dream. And it was just kind of like, and not trying to downside my parents, love them. But to them, being first generation immigrant, coming to another country, the way that they saw you being successful was through hard work. And hard work meant that, you're going to have a respectable job. Not to say that acting is not a respectable job, but you're going to have a job where you stay in school, you get that degree, and then you become a lawyer or you go into the medical field. Like those were jobs that people worked really hard at and were really successful. And so Caribbean parents, they feel like, hey, we came to this country for the opportunities that it presents, and you are going to partake in those opportunities, and those are the ways that you can partake in them and be successful. And so that's a little bit of background on why Caribbean people are like, oh, hey, this is what you're doing with your life. And so my mother responded and told me that. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, I took that for what it was worth at face value. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I will, try to figure what I want to be within those parameters. Didn't really think a whole lot about it. I did not, at the time, I want to say, I didn't think that, oh my gosh, okay, yes, this is what I'm going to do. But I did feel that should I want to pursue a career in acting, that wouldn't be something that my parents would necessarily support. I would be going against the grain, which is unheard of. And so I kind of dropped it. I pushed it in the back of my mind, but still asking myself the question of, what is it that I was meant to do? Because I really felt like my purpose involved me being in front of a camera. I did feel that. But I was just like, no, that is something that is so far-fetched. It was just something that was such a big dream. And you were able to dream, but were you really able to believe that you could reach that dream? That's where my challenge came in. I was like, yes, I can dream and I can dream big, but am I really able to reach that dream? And kind of pushed it to the back of my mind. Again, and so that question will pop up every once in a while. What is my purpose? What am I doing? Is this what I'm meant to be doing? And I knew that what I was doing wasn't at the time, what I was doing at the time wasn't pulling on me. Like when you find that sense of purpose, when you find that purpose, there is something that is absolutely concrete. There is something, to explain it, it's like a feeling, it's like a being, it's like a mental state. Everything just aligns, and this is what I am meant to be doing. This is what I'm doing. And I would have conversation with individuals from time to time, and talk, kind of have very what should I call it? Surface conversation about purpose, right? So like, what do you think you're supposed to be doing? What you meant to be doing? What do you think you're supposed to do? And ladies, I know there's so much to do and not enough time in the day. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But what are you doing for yourself? Well, I've recently discovered Body Bar Pilates. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Body Bar Pilates will challenge all of your major muscle groups and provide you with a full body workout. Wow. Listen, I had to check it out. I took a class with Sherelle and it was amazing. They have workouts for all skill levels, whether you're just starting out or you're just looking for a new way to move your body. This is the community for you. Check out my friends at Body Bar Pilates East Cobb or give them a call at 678-941-4371. And don't forget to mention me, Harley G. I mean, at that age, high school age, we're just all kind of still trying to figure it out, right? Like there's not really, I don't know how deep the conversation would really have went at that time because we're in high school. We don't really know a whole lot. And so I would have conversation because I felt like I was always searching for it, even when I wasn't actively doing so, but I was always searching for that sense of purpose. I was always trying to figure out what it was going to be for me. And when I would have some conversation with about purpose, which was oftentimes with people that were my age, we didn't have the answers because I don't know. Maybe it's because we didn't have the experiences, some life experiences that you kind of have to go through, some things that you need to figure out about yourself. And we didn't have those. And we couldn't figure out. So we had conversation about it, but there was never an answer. And then once again, pushed it in the back of my mind. Fast forward to a little bit later on in life, when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for college. I remember going to the career center and going through the majors. Now I knew that television and radio, television, I knew that I wanted to do something that was in the communication field, mass communication, because I wanted to get as close to it without doing it as possible, right? So I couldn't be an actress, okay? But I'm going to come as close to it as I can. So that's what I did. So I'm in the career center and I'm going through the different degrees available in the mass communication field. And I come across public relations. And I was like, wait a minute, public relations. I mean, y'all, it was a setup. It was a straight setup. Public relations. I will relate with the public. And so I was just like, sounds like a good one to me. And that's literally how I selected my major. Didn't care about how much money it was going to make. I figured, hey, if I have to get a degree in it, like if you have to go to college and get a 4-year degree in it, well, it has to pay some sort of good money. So that's good enough for me. Looked at the definition. I was like, okay, so it involves marketing and PR and, well, it is PR, but it involves marketing. It involves advertising, engaging with customers. And I was just like, this sounds like it's right up my alley. And I was like, hey, that's going to be my major. Went to school, went to college, got my degree in PR, graduated with my PR major. And literally, guys, first of all, like, I just, if you guys do, drop that on Instagram or drop us a DM. But if you actually are doing something right now that is related to the degree you got in school, kudos to you, because I feel like maybe 70 or 80% of the population of employees or individuals are working in completely different fields than what they really majored in college. But so that's kind of me going off rails, but I digress. I come back. And so, selected my career, my degree in PR, got that degree in PR. And then I was just kind of like, well, what do I do with it? I was fortunate enough to work in the communication field. So that kind of worked out. I ended up working for a newspaper and then ended up working for a communications television cable station. Which which you may have heard of, and CNN, and so I actually did end up going into my field and getting as close to it again as I could, but not doing what my dream was. My dream to me at that point was still unattainable for whatever reason. And so move on in life. I'm married, I have children, I have a good job, and live in a nice house. And I'm starting to pick up on certain things. And some of those things are, I'm starting to pick up on some personality traits that I have, some aspects of my personalities. One is that I'm very comfortable when it comes to social settings, right? I don't have any issues when it comes to interacting and engaging with individuals in a social setting. Matter of fact, I thrive in social settings. So notice that about myself. Also notice that I'm a very friendly, generally friendly person, and people don't have any issues when it comes to approaching me. I'm pretty approachable, and I have this energy that seems to be very addictive. So it's like, which sometimes I kind of feel like is a little bit of a pitfall, because if you're an individual who walks around very energetic, I think some of you influencers might relate to this. But if you're an individual who by oftentimes you're very energetic and you're very outgoing and people love your personality, well, when you don't show up that way, it's definitely noticeable, right? But I noticed that about myself. I noticed that my energy was pretty high level normally. I'm pretty positive, I'm approachable, I'm social, and oh my gosh, I like to talk a lot. Maybe that's why I have this podcast thing that makes sense. But notice that, so I started noticing some characteristics of myself, and just kind of noticing them, not really doing anything different or digging in, but I started noticing those. And then I'm beginning to realize that I'm beginning to notice those things, but I'm not taking a deep dive into it. So still asking myself the question about purpose. I'm noticing some characteristics that are unique to me, but I have no idea what to do with it. So it's like, okay, you're this ish. You want to figure out life and you want to figure out your purpose, but how do you put all those things together? Still have no idea. And kind of it's still asking my question about purpose. Like, I'm still asking myself that question. And we fast forward to 2020, fast forward to the pandemic, and now I am playing all of these roles that I do feel like have a part in your ultimate purpose, but they're parts of it, right? So when you find that ultimate purpose, I feel like all those different roles kind of tie into that. However, that ultimate purpose piece for me was still missing. And, we're fast forwarding, we're in the pandemic, it's 2020, I'm being a mother, I'm being a wife, I'm being a daughter. I have to teach my kids, told them they were just going to have to be dumb for 1 year because this teaching thing was not working out for any of us. Shout outs to the teachers and for everything that you do. We appreciate you. Oh my goodness. But I'm having to do all of these things. I'm in isolation, which is the evil twin brother of my personality. And now I'm literally having nervous breakdowns because for the type of person that I am, for the personality that I have, I'm not able to really show up and be my true self, right? I can't socialize with people any longer. I can't go out. I'm having to focus on, these other things that do make up parts of my purpose, but now it is even more apparent to me that I don't know what my ultimate purpose is. And so, like I said, I had multiple breakdowns, guys, multiple breakdowns to where I was just like, this is not working out. Like, what am I doing with my life? And so then I decided that, okay, I'm finally I decided, we're in isolation, there isn't a whole lot we can do. I'm going to try to figure this thing out. And I began to look at myself, like truly take a look at myself. And so the first thing I did, the first step that I took was I made a commitment to myself that I would take out all the noise. And what I mean by that is that I am going to, whatever I've been told I was, whatever people said that I was, I decided that I was going to take out all of that and I was going to throw it away. So, in essence, I was almost kind of like starting from blank slate. I said that I was going to start from a blank slate, start from scratch, and I was going to find out who I was from me, not from what somebody's saying that I am, but from me. What is it about me that is unique? Not what somebody says I am, but what I truly am. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to be the, I wasn't going to be, you know, I didn't want to play into those roles that other people said I was, meaning bubbly and friendly and a social butterfly. I wanted to dig deep and really find out who I was. And this is where the core values come into play. And I actually downloaded this app. I came across this app because I was trying to find tools and resources that will help me on my path to purpose. What is it that's going to really truly help me to discover what my ultimate purpose is? And I started digging and looking into resources, and I came across this app called Sanity and Self. I think you guys may have heard me talk about it before. And I found this app called Sanity and Self. And this is why this app is totally amazing, and I would absolutely recommend that you all download this app and check it out for yourself. But find what works for you, right? So if it's an app, if it's a resource, if it's meditating, if it's reading, if it's a book, whatever it is that's going to help you on that personal growth journey, find what that is for you. Find what, and it may be trial and error. It may be that you try this thing, this app, this resource, and it's not working out. Okay, do not quit. Do not give up. Then figure it. Maybe it's a process of elimination for you. Figure out what it is. If it's a book, or if it's meditation, or if it is having that quiet time. But whatever it is, find it. Find what works for you. And so for me, it was this Sanity and Self app. And they have, and now I'm going to sound like I'm a salesperson. I'm trying to sell you on it. I really am not. But I just want to speak on how this app was able to really, truly help me. And they have amazing tools and resources within the app. So it has multiple features that were so instrumental to my personal growth. It has meditation. And it even teaches you how to meditate, because I will probably say that before utilizing this app, I wasn't very knowledgeable on how to meditate. I would literally sit there when it came time to meditate, and I would be quiet, and then my mind will be flooded with all of these different thoughts, and then I would just go down a rabbit hole. And so I never really honed in on the skill of meditation until I started using this app. So it has meditation, and it has meditation on all levels. So whether you are an advanced meditator, or whether you're just trying to figure it out, you're trying to find out if you even like it. They have short sessions, long sessions, all types of meditation. Deep breathing, short breathing. It's amazing. I cannot talk enough about it. So it has a meditation feature. It also has a journaling feature. Now, I will say that I know some individuals who are like just hardcore journalers, like they journal day in day out. I'm not that way. I'm kind of a seasonal journalist, as I would call it. So I go through seasons where I feel like I do a really good job and I journal constantly, and then I have seasons where I don't really. I migrate over to something else that helps me. But they do have journaling, and they have guided journaling. So if you don't know where to start, like you look at a blank slate and it looks intimidating to you, you can actually utilize the guided journaling instead, where it kind of helps you as far as what are you feeling, what are your emotions that you're feeling, what happened today. And so that may be something that might interest you more. They have these amazing, and this is really what kind of propelled me, but they have these amazing sessions in the app. And they're about, they vary as far as the sessions length. So it could be a 3-day sessions, it could be a 7-day sessions, but they have these sessions on anything and everything, especially with when it comes, it could be about purpose. It could be about, you know, dealing with a certain type of personality, or it could be about self-love. Like, how do you really practice self-love, which was actually a challenge for me. That was something that while I knew it was something that I needed to become good at, but I didn't know how to actively practice it. How do you practice self-love, right? How do you, like, if you listen to my previous podcast, how do you show up for yourself, right? And what does that look like? So they have sessions about that. They have sessions about, you know, if you are, you know, getting back into dating, how do you do that? How do you get back into that? So they have a menu. I cannot even begin to go down the list, but they have a menu of sessions that are professionals actively helping you and walking you through this specific subject. So whether it's finding your purpose, whether it is getting back out there and dating, whether it is, hey, I self-confidence, you know, that's something that I had to really work at. Self-love, self-care. So they have this menu of sessions that you can actually go through at your own pace, which is amazing. And then they also have professional help. So they have these professional therapists that are dedicated to this app that are available to you to talk to you about anything and everything. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, which for me was kind of like one of the biggest thing, was the community. I would listen to a session and I was so moved by the session, and I was just like, it just spoke to my soul. And then I could actually look in the comments at the end of the session, and even get even more out of it through the community. People leaving feedback, people saying, hey, I've dealt with this and this is what works for me, or just people providing even additional tools and resources to help you through whatever it is that you're going through. I thought the community was absolutely amazing and priceless. So for me, this Sanity and Self app was absolutely instrumental to my personal growth. It really got me on that journey, and even it helped me realize and acknowledge what my core values were. So that is where kind of my work as far as my core values started. When I talked a little bit earlier about taking out all the noise, one of the things that I had to do was like strip away, like I said before, strip away all the stuff that people were saying that I was, and then figure out what are my core values? What are the things that I need to exhibit for myself every single day? How do I walk in my purpose? What allows me to walk in my purpose every single day? And it's the core values. The core values are your foundation. They are the way that you show up every day. They are the non-negotiables. So that means that, like, people can tell you who you are. You know absolutely who you are. So those core values are absolutely important, that you figure out what they are for you, and not for somebody else, but for you. And the Sanity and Self enabled me to find out, to really take a deep dive and find out what those core values were. What is it that I stand for? What is it that is not a negotiable? What is it that I need to be exhibiting, walking in, demonstrating every day that says, this is Harli? And that app was absolutely hands down amazing. So, Sanity and Self app is what I used to really help me with walking on that personal growth journey. That was huge for me, to find that and to understand why I was the way I was, who I was, and then once I have that information, what do I do with it, right? So we talk about the core values and really knowing that, but then like what happens when you find what your core values are? What do you do with it? Right. And so this is when you start getting or tapping into your purpose. So now that you have these core values, the next step for me was to take a step back and figure out, what is it that I'm passionate about? I do believe there's a differentiation or distinction between passion and purpose. Okay. Passion can come and go. Purpose does not. Purpose is what you were put here to do. You can have a passion. You can. And maybe 5 years from now, 6 months from now, however long, you don't have that passion anymore. You've changed. You've become a different person. You've grown, whatever it is. You don't have that passion anymore. So passion can shift. But I do not believe that purpose does. Purpose evolves. So what happens is you can start out with this purpose and then this purpose can grow. You're serving others with this purpose. It becomes bigger than you are. It continues to evolve. But a passion is something that I feel like can come and go. And feel free to challenge me on that if you'd like to. I welcome the challenge, but that is what I believe in. And so I found out my core values, and now I'm taking a step back and I'm also looking at what is it that I'm passionate about. And one of the exercises that I went through was thinking about those characteristics that I mentioned earlier, me being bubbly and me being friendly, and those characteristics that I mentioned earlier. So I'm sitting here thinking about what are the things that I absolutely love to do. Okay. And some of those things are engaging. So I absolutely love engaging, talking with individuals. And that's because I have the need to really get to know them and really connect with them on the deeper level. So it's not just me having a conversation and making friends, but it's really my need to really connect with people on a deeper level. And so for me, when I'm talking to someone, it's more than just me talking to them. It's actually me trying to find that connection. What is it that's going to link us together? That's going to form that deep bond, that connection. And so I was like, okay, so I love to talk. I love to engage with people. What else? What do I like to do? I love to support. That is one of the things that I absolutely love about my job. What I do is I get to come along someone's journey, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, but I get to come along that employee's journey, and I get to help them. If whether it's in their personal life, something's going on in their personal life and they need help, they need support, or whether it's professional, if it's something is impacting their performance. And by the way, personal and professional, really hard to separate. So most likely if something is going on in someone's professional life, it's probably because something from the personal life is spilling over. So how can I come in and help support that individual? How can I help them continue to move along in their journey, so that they can become better, so they can continue to grow and continue to achieve? And that is one of the things that I enjoy doing, that I just absolutely enjoy doing, is supporting and helping people along their journey. And I thought about that, and which is also kind of spills over to me always being involved in the community, always serving people in need, always having that community service aspect I've always been involved in it. When I was in high school, I actually graduated with a community service tassel. And so you had to have a certain amount of community service hours throughout your tenure in high school for you to receive this special tassel in community service. And I was determined, focused to get it, and I got it. So my need to serve others, my passion, my ability to connect with individual, and engage with them. So I'm looking at all these things that I'm really passionate about. And then I'm looking at my core values. So I have my passion and I have my core values. Now I have those things. What do I do? How do I find a way to have these, to bring these, all of these things together and walk in my true, ultimate, divine purpose? And I thought, I was having a conversation with and I just, before I move forward, I always also wanted to say that one of the things, passion also allows you to experience things that you need to experience, meaning passion also allows you to experience hard work. It allows you to experience failure. It allows you to experience rejection. It allows you to experience dedication. I mean, when you have passion, you are able to experience so many things that you need in your walk with purpose. Like, you need those things, because just because you're walking your purpose doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. That is seen, oh, I've arrived now, I'm walking in my purpose, everything's going to be there fun. No, it's not, because failure is part of that purpose. Growth is part of that purpose. Rejection is part of it. And so I feel like with passion, you get to experience all those things that allow you to walk in your purpose. I mean, I'll throw an example, for instance, a ballerina. Okay. A ballerina doesn't start out to being this amazing ballerina. There's so much hard work that involves being a ballerina. You have to learn all of these turns. You have to learn how to be resilient, right? I mean, your feet, you're constantly, putting your body through this process to become better. Another example that I take that I completely can relate to is being a runner. Now, while I had the natural ability to be a runner, a good runner, but there's so much more that's involved with that for me to be an amazing runner, right? And that is training every single day. And even though I'm a sprinter, but I now have to run I now have to run quarters instead of, if I'm a 100 runner, then I have to run longer so that I can be better at the 100. There is my form, something that I'm constantly having to work on to make sure that when you're running, the tool is your actual body. And so you have to use that body. You constantly have to fine tune that body. You have to train that body. You have to build the body. And when you're passionate about something, that's what you're doing. You are putting that passion through certain things that will allow you to walk in that purpose. And I really feel like when we come across someone, when we come across kids, why is it that kids are able to dream as big as they want? They're able to say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a ballerina. And kids have those dreams, but somewhere along the way, they stop dreaming. They stop thinking that they can be that ballerina because someone told them, you know what, you need to grow up and you need to think about paying your bills and you need to make sure that you get a job where you can make money. Well, we have been programmed to somewhere along the way just say that, you know what, that dream is no longer attainable. That was just a dream. It is not something that's real. And I think that part of purpose is always dreaming bigger than you think you can achieve. So if I say that I'm going to be an investor and I'm going to own a property, well, really, I want to be dreaming about owning a shopping center. I want to dream about owning a neighborhood. I believe that in purpose, you have to be able to dream bigger than you are, because in purpose, you're also walking by faith. It's saying, you know what, God, you gave me this purpose, you gave me this ability, and it doesn't, you take it as far as you want to take it. I'm just here to serve through my purpose. Okay. And I feel like somewhere along the line we stop dreaming, we become adults, and we start to shift, and at some point we think that those dreams that we had before, I'm a grown up now, it doesn't matter, I have to do what I have to do. And I think for me, I never stop asking myself that question: what is my purpose? What is it I was here to do, that I was meant to do? And the thing with purpose is that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter that you've tried and tried and tried again and you failed. The thing about purpose is there is no timeline. There is no limit. There is no age for purpose. So if you, it's never too late for you to say, I'm going to pursue my purpose. I'm going to do it. I'm going to find it. And so for me, I discovered it at 40 something years old. I'm not going to say my true age, but I discovered it at 40 something years of age. And I really feel like I discovered it when I was meant to. The timing was the timing. It was the perfect timing when it was time for me to realize that purpose. And every single experience, every single story, every trial, every failure, every victory that I have had led to that purpose. It made me who I was. I feel like those were the exact stories, those were the exact experiences, those were the exact failures and victories that I needed to get to where I am today. All of that plays into your purpose. And oftentimes I know that I'm really bad about that, but we compare ourselves to somebody else's journey. No. Your journey is unique to you. Okay, no, that journey was meant for you and you alone. Even though you may think that there are some similarities to somebody else's journey, it's not yours. They have their journey and you have yours. Stay in your lane, okay? And I'm saying this out loud because it's something that I am constantly challenged with. I'm going to be completely transparent, and that is something that I'm challenged with. I can easily go down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, well, they have this, why don't I have that? Or are they better than I am? Or do I need to question my worth? And I have to actively make an effort to make sure that I do not do that I stay in my lane, because my journey was meant for me. And what is meant for you is meant for you. Nobody can take that away from you. I do feel, and some of the things that in thinking about that, what comes to mind is that I was doing some research on purpose, and I was looking at some famous people that we all admire nowadays. And one of the stories that I came across was Oprah's story, when she was getting the role of The Color Purple. And I had never heard that story before. And so Oprah goes out for this role, and what they tell her initially is that, you know what, do you not have any idea like what kind of caliber of actresses are applying for this role? Like woman, this is what you don't need to be like. So basically she didn't get the role. Okay, so she goes out for this role, and she doesn't get it. So now she starts questioning herself, and she starts questioning her worth. And she goes away to and then she says, well, is it because I'm fat? Is it because I'm overweight that I didn't get the role? And she goes away. She goes away to a fat form, and she decides, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to lose weight. Right? And so she goes to this, what she calls it, I promise you that's what she calls it. Go on YouTube and Google Oprah and Color Purple role, and you will hear the story for yourself. So I'm just paraphrasing. And she goes away to this fat farm and she's walking out on the track, and she is thinking about how she didn't get this role, and she starts comparing herself to the people that were auditioning for it, and she's just like, I don't understand, like, why am I'm not good enough, and starts to question herself. And um and as she goes through that process, you begin to see, she begins to talk about how she is slowly but surely starting to surrender. But it isn't until she completely, unquestionably surrenders that something happens. So she's finally at the point where she is like, you know what? If I see the person who gets this role, I will congratulate them. I mean, that's got to be tough to know that you went for this role, you didn't get it for whatever reason, and now you come across this person who's gotten the role, right? And now you're going to be humble. You're going to humble yourself and say, you know what? I congratulate you. Y'all, I know we're supposed to be these great people and we're supposed to, I don't know if I would do that, but needless to say, she gets to a point where she completely surrenders. And then it is at that moment, at that time, where she's singing, she's walking on the track, she's singing, I surrender all. And she's singing this song, and she's really truly surrendering. All of a sudden, somebody comes out and says, Ofri? And she was like, Ofri? Oh, they could never pronounce, and so they don't even know how to pronounce her name. And she was like, yeah, that's me. And they said, I have somebody on the phone with you. He says his name is Steven Spielberg. She said, what? She goes to the phone. Steven Spielberg is on the other line, and he says, where are you? And she says, I'm at a health retreat. She calls it a fat farm, but she tells Steven Spielberg, she said, yes, I'm on a health retreat. He said, let me tell you something. You've got this amount of time to walk through this door. And if you have lost a single pound, you will not get this role. Isn't God amazing? When you are walking your purpose, look at what God can do. Oprah left, hung up the phone, swung by Dairy Queen, bought 2 ice cream cones just in case she had lost half a pound. She wanted to make sure that she made up for it, and went to the audition and got the role. Now, can you just put this in perspective? If you've seen The Color Purple, could you imagine anybody else playing that role? Absolutely not. And so that story stopped me dead in my tracks. Because even when you have found your ultimate purpose and you are walking in that purpose, you have days where you're just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Is this even worth it? Am I supposed to be doing this? You have days where you're just like, you don't know if you can take one more step, but you take it out of faith because you know that what you're doing, your purpose is serving others. It is much bigger than you. And you have been called to do something that nobody else has done before. Even if you feel like there's somebody else out there that's doing it and it's similar, it's still not the same. Your purpose is unique to you, and no one else has that purpose the way that you do. And while I sit and I want to sit in that, and I want to think about that, because I have those days where I'm just kind of like, is this really what I'm doing? Is this going to work out? Like, what am I doing? But I push forward and I take one more step, because if this podcast reaches one person, then that's it. I've reached my goal. And I know I can reach more than one person. But if this podcast can say to one person, you know what, Harley, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start today, and I'm going to start pursuing my purpose. then that's it. I'm doing what I was meant to be doing. And I would like to encourage all of you to really sit down and think about, am I doing? Do you think that you are actually doing what your ultimate purpose is? Are you doing that right now? And if not, do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel full? Do you feel like what you're doing is your ultimate purpose? And if it's not, reach out to me. I would love to come alongside and support you while you pursue your ultimate purpose. Because I really, truly feel, as I said before, and I will keep saying, that with every experience, with every story that you go through, there is purpose in your story. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose every day. Some days are challenging. Some days I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that it's my ultimate purpose. And so I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep walking. And he opens the doors for me without me even knowing that there was a door there. And so that is what I have for you all today as far as purpose. I love talking about this because I feel like it's truly important. I would thank you so much for just kind of hanging in there with me today as I kind of rambled on a little bit, but I really hope that you guys have been able to hear and feel the authenticity behind the message of purpose. And like I said, keep pushing through, keep pursuing that purpose, because it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what stage in life you are right now. You can absolutely find your purpose. Okay. So that is all I had for Insiders today. Thank you so much for hanging there with me. Let me know what you think about the solo episodes. I would love to hear from you all. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Inside the Bubble HG. Follow, like, share, and there's also a link for you all to support the podcast, which is located in the show notes. It's the Glow link. So if you hit that link, you'll see how you can support the podcast. We would love to have your support. But thank you so much. And of course, as you know, we are dropping new episodes every Monday. We're bringing you inspirational stories, motivational stories. Hopefully you guys were motivated and inspired by today's episode. Like I said, hit us up on Instagram, share the podcast. And until next time. And what do I always say? There's purpose in your story. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Hit the subscribe button and share. Share this pod with your family, with your friends, with your girlfriends, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Bubble with HG. Keep the conversation going. Drop us a heart emoji, engage with us. We would love to hear from you. New episodes are dropping every Monday on your podcast streaming platforms. And remember, there's purpose in your story.